Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a Twin Soul Channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about the Pisces New Moon for Twin Flames. This new moon takes place on March 2nd, 2022, 12:34 p.m. if you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Thanks so much for all of the likes, subscribes, and shares. It's an honor to do this with you at every new and full moon. As mentioned previously, this will be the intel for specifically people who are in divine connections. If you'd like to better understand the energy in context so that you have an understanding of why the energy is what it is and how to use it with mastery, that information is always in the Lightworker Energy Update. So whether you watch this one first or that one first, I always recommend that you watch that one for sure, because that one will allow you to understand how to use the energy with mastery, not just what's going on and passively let the energy float by in your life. All of that to say, let's dive in. Before we begin though, I just want to go ahead and take a moment of silence for the folks who are struggling in the Ukraine. There are tragedies and atrocities across the world at any given time. This isn't the first. I'm fortunately sure that it won't be the last, unfortunately. But just know that we stand with you in your sovereignty and in solidarity. In the Lightworker Energy Update, I certainly went into the energies that predated this and the experience that we're seeing play out on the world stage. So if you're curious about the astrological influence, you'll find that information there. Let's get into what's going on for Twin Flames. New moon takes place here, Pisces, 12 degrees. This new moon is conjunct Nessus and Jupiter. This brings all four of these, Moon, Sun, Nessus, and Jupiter, together in a singular energy that is impacting collective divine masculine energies. As I read, Jupiter represents divine masculine energy, and it's sitting here in the sign of Pisces. With new moon conjunct divine masculine, this is bringing new beginnings to divine masculine energy. And this is almost, I'd say, about a month early of the divine masculine's new moon, which will take place at the new moon in Aries. We'll have a full moon before then, but at the new moon in Aries, that will be the astrological beginning of the new year for divine masculine energies. So be sure you join me then to understand what energy will permeate the divine masculine energetic collective for the next year. Aries being the first masculine sign of the zodiac is what makes that the divine masculine's full moon. Jupiter there, as we're wrapping up, Jupiter being in the final sign of the zodiac, Pisces, and conjunct a new moon. This is pretty much a big spiritual new beginning in divine masculine energy fields. There's a bit of a determination, a lot of optimism, a lot of faith and hope when it comes to what's going on in our divine masculine energies. And you don't have to have a masculine or a feminine or an in-between body. We all have masculine and feminine energy, regardless of the body we incarnated in. All that to say, you may notice at this time in your own divine masculine energy a sense of surrender, a sense of going with the flow, a sense of spiritual congruence and alignment, an optimism and a faith that if you continue to take the right steps, things will indeed work out for you. Because this is Pisces, it's a little bit mystical. There can be a deeper desire to connect with our spiritual side through our divine masculine energy, and a deeper desire to understand I guess they call it the warp and woof of the pattern, a deeper desire to understand the spiritual nature of what we're all experiencing here in the third dimension, and even a recognition or expansion of the old adage, we are all divine beings or spiritual beings having a human experience. So, getting further into this, we can see here that Jupiter is Nessus is the one that you may not be familiar with. Sun and Moon, everyone knows that, emotions, our sense of self, but Nessus is an energy of obsession. It's an OCD type energy. It's a rigid, dogged focus almost on a hyperloop around the same things. And the things that we're focused on in our masculine energy is this wanting to get it right spiritually, grow spiritually, become spiritually. And if you currently are in connection with a counterpart and the two of you identify in polaric understanding of yourselves, you're exploring, one of you may be exploring just divine feminine energy, the other one may be exploring just divine masculine energy. The counterpart who is exploring just divine masculine energy may be experiencing a bit of a spiritual renaissance with this energy. And that's only amplified because of the way Uranus is having conversation with Pisces, Jupiter, and New Moon. Uranus was the original divine counterpart. This is the divine counterpart of Gaia. And it was the counterpart that she created herself because she was lonely. She wanted company. She wanted a companion. So she created Uranus, the heavens, to wrap around her and allow her to experience companionship for the first time. Where there was one, they became two. Uranus brings the element of surprise, like divine insight, the quantum leap forward, lightning quick transformation, growth, and change. And because Uranus is sitting in the sign of the body, that's Taurus, also the sign of money, this could be an opportunity that shows up that could be a bit once in a lifetime for divine masculine energies. If only you're willing to do the work to seize it, if only you're willing to show up for it, because this angle that they are making, Jupiter to Uranus, this is called a sextile. And the sextile energy is one that bestows benefit, but only if we're willing to take a chance and step up to the plate and apply a little effort, a little blood, sweat, and tears here. And so this is totally possible where you might find a opportunity showing up for you either in something affiliated with your internal divine masculine energy or for the partner who recognizes themselves as anchoring more exclusively in divine masculine energy. And it's going to be time. This may be an opportunity that you didn't see coming, but you certainly have put efforts towards. So this is the kind of thing where, let's just say you've been applying for jobs, you finally get a call back, that kind of thing. You've been putting yourself out there, you've been creating effort, and here is now the universe stepping into alignment with you saying, and we will reward your efforts. So, if you've been working towards something or wanting to make special effort toward the achievement of certain outcomes, it's a great moment in time. This Pisces new moon, 5 days before, 5 days after, and even leading up into the full moon in another 2 weeks. This energy is a momentum build toward the manifestation of something in the third dimension that you may have been calling from the ethers into the third dimension for some time. Now is the opportunity. Now is the moment where it begins to come forward. If you're not sure how to use this energy, my invitation to you is to book a private reading with me, especially if you and your counterpart might be in union or wanting to co-create. This is a great opportunity to see, okay, how can we work together? Or if you have a business that you want to start this year or a project you want to start, this is a great moment in time, especially as we head into the astrological new year next month in April. It'll be a great time to have a look at what you can do to utilize these energies with mastery, because Jupiter will be making some very auspicious conversations this year. You want to make sure to take advantage of these. In other words, strike while the iron is hot. Moving into our divine feminine energy, we can see her here. We see the Juno placement here. Juno, mythologically and astrologically, is the divine counterpart of Jupiter. So I include her when I read for the divine feminine, giving her voice and her transit prominence in the way I read for collective energies. We can see her there at the 11th degree of Aquarius. Now, at that inside of Aquarius, what we're dealing with is the collective consciousness. This is the energy of almost like the internet being plugged into our brain. It's a claircognizant energy, it's the ability to think and then to know something. Jupiter sitting in Pisces. Pisces is the collective subconscious. So this part governs the things that we cannot see, we cannot know. It's the ether, the ineffable, but the unknowable as well. Because both of them are sitting in the last two signs of the zodiac, Aquarius and Pisces. Collective consciousness, Juno, collective subconscious, Jupiter. There's this energy here where the two of them are broadcasting quite loudly into the collective. For those of you who recognize yourself to be collective energy workers, collective light workers, grid workers, human heart grid workers, this is a moment in time where you can get a lot accomplished, impact a lot of people by providing a broadcast of Aquarius. Hey, let's all look out for our collective good. Let's remember we are all connected. And Pisces, hey, let's dig into the spiritual nature of who we really are. Let's remember that we are all truly divine beings. The broadcast signal from divine counterparts at this time is especially loud. So it's going to be incredibly important to do two things. Number one, mind your vibration where you're feeling heavy, down, stuck. Do what you gotta do to lift yourself, to feed your vibration with healthy energy, healthy food, healthy music, healthy sight and sound, healthy interactions, so that your vibration can stay above the low water line. Secondly, it's going to be really important. Hold good boundaries, because at this time, the energies can be so permeable. It's easy to take on a lot. You don't have to take on everyone's stuff. You do not have to be a collective node that purges everyone else's energy. There may be times, yes, sure, where that might happen as you step into union with your soul group. But that's not the only thing that's happening here. Just as much as you can project out, you can also absorb in. And if you want to be mindful about what you're taking in, be conscientious about your own broadcast signal, as well as your spiritual and psychological and energetic boundaries. Great time for saging, great time for Palo Santo, beautiful time for detox baths, saltwater sprays. Whatever you do to keep your energy high vibrational, do it at this time. It's going to be useful as we move through Pisces season and finalize our collective energies into Aries season. Back to Juno, the divine feminine. We have her here in the sign of the collective and the collective consciousness, that is Aquarius, looking out for the common good of all, including herself. She is having a conversation with Uranus as well, but hers is not one of flow or ease. It's one of complication that astrologers call the square. Speaking to the original divine counterpart, not her divine counterpart, but the original one, Uranus square Juno can bring surprises in relationship out of left field. These can be things that we didn't see coming, things that we suddenly have to deal with. And these could, unfortunately, because it's the square, can manifest a bit in the shadow. Things coming to revelation or light. If there have been secrets in connection, these things coming forward and making themselves known, particularly because she's in the sign of the internet, on the internet, or because Uranus is in the sign of the body. These could be gut feelings that then just end up getting confirmed. Somehow, some way you find your way into evidence that confirms certain suspicions you may have had, where things come to light, come to revelation. This energy of Uranus square Juno as well can also facilitate certain surprise challenges for the divine feminine in the third dimension. Some of these things can be about money, can be about business, can be about the body. So it's going to be really important as we're looking at this energy to be taking good care of mental health. That would be the Aquarian energy, and physical health. That would be that Taurian energy, where Uranus sits, making that aspect to Juno. Really important to be mindful of how you're utilizing your energy and your body and your health and well-being at this time, as surprises can come out of nowhere and facilitate something that needs immediate attention in the physical body. Okay, we also have her having a sextile to Chiron, and that only amplifies this potential for some level of woundedness to come up and need to get dealt with, because she is speaking to Chiron in the sextile. Though the healing part of this will be inevitable. You have a lot of universal support with your Chiron sextile Juno, Juno sextile Chiron there, to create the healing that is needed at this time. The Chironic energy in Aries has everyone in the last several years facing a lot of their own pain and woundedness. It has everyone dealing with a lot of their stories about being, quote, not enough. In whatever way not enoughness can manifest for you. It also is pushing a lot of people to play a bigger game, this Chiron in Aries, where you've recognized you've held yourself back, set in place limitations because of stories based on your childhood or your past or who you've been or mistakes that you've made. This Chiron sextile Juno is bringing into the divine feminine energetic fields the opportunity to heal those harmful self-limiting beliefs and stories once and for all, and get into a place of power and healing with these things, so that you're able to stand in your sovereignty in your service and not be serving from a place of ongoing woundedness. So if you're noticing at this time in your divine feminine energy that triggers abound, that negative self-talk seems to be everywhere, and sometimes it's just hitting you and you don't even know where it came from, remember, divine feminine is sitting in collective consciousness. It may not be yours. And where you can mind your vibration to take care of automatic negative thinking and reverse it, do that, because in so doing, you will create a stronger broadcast signal that allows people in your soul group to pull toward the light. And you'll also keep your own vibration high enough to not suck in those lower vibes. But they're out there. Chiron speaking to Juno is certainly putting them in the air. This week, I have been broadcasting the Shadow Work Week interviews, and you'll be able to find support through those interviews. Just pick one. They're in the Shadow Work Week playlist that you might like to listen to. If you'd like some additional support working with any of those themes, that may be a mirror for you about where you're ready to up level. Okay, we also have her in conversation here with Ceres. It's a loose conversation, but that conversation is a trine. And this piece of the conversation is going to make most sense to anyone who is a mother. Ceres represents motherhood, but she's the motherhood that's a bit, how can I put it? The experience of Ceres is the one of cycles and seasons in motherhood. And so with Ceres having a conversation with Juno, in harmony at this point in time, you may find that a season that you have been looking for or waiting for in your motherhood comes to surface at this time, brings itself to bear. With this particular new moon energy, this could be a period of time in a season where, as a woman, you might conceive. There could be a boost in fertility. There could also potentially be you might hear of an announcement of a birth in your family. There could also be, maybe you get the green light for adoption if you planning to adopt a child, which is a beautiful option as well. Um, or your mind might change on one or the other of these, where you just get to a place of clarity where it's like, I thought about natural birth, but now I'm 100% ready to go in the adoption direction. Or I was going in the adoption direction only to suddenly get pregnant out of nowhere. There's going to be some fertility energy this year. And this is certainly this Pisces new moon opening up new cycles and new seasons and new chapters is certainly a conception transit. And with Jupiter and moon speaking, this can be either on the divine masculine or divine feminine side. This Juno is also trine the shaman's asteroid, and this is what we would call in astrology a grand air trine. This means that all the planetary placements that I've just mentioned, shaman's asteroid named Makemake, Ceres here in Gemini, Juno up here in Aquarius, this grand air trine creates a lot of mental energy. Air is the sign of communication. It's a sign of thoughtfulness and thought forms. And with Juno, divine feminine, and Ceres and Makemake all flooding the airwaves, so to speak, what we have going on is an opportunity to up level the way we are collectively thinking as women. And this could be womb women, or women who, were born into a body that wasn't female, but recognize fully their femininity now. So if there's a way in which you're wanting to up level the conversation around femininity, around womanhood, around connectedness and sisterhood, around motherhood, around lessons that we women carry with our bodies that we want to get those lessons into mastery out in the world, this is the moment. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. Share those social media posts, write that book, do that marketing, host that webinar, create that outcome where you are bringing women into a new conversation and some new thought forms around up leveling conversations around femininity. This moment in time, when you look back on it, you'll be able to see, especially with this new moon, that this may be the beginning where the seeds got planted that only come into full fruition sometime in the next couple of years, next year and a half. But you've been wanting to plant seeds, do it now. Click out of YouTube, you go right ahead, you start writing, you start creating, you start bridge building with your sisters. This is the opportunity to make it so. If you've heard something that resonates for you, but you'd like to go deeper, you're challenged by the energies and you'd like further illumination, it's the beginning of the year. Maybe you want to look at your chart. You can find me at kmoonastro.com, where we can take a deep dive into what may be going on for you in your divine connection in a twin flame reading, or with a business partner. Just book the twin flame reading and put you and your business partner's information in. Or if you'd like to look at energies coming forward in time, let's say you have plans for the year, a move, a launch, a business venture, we can do that as well. Also, if you've heard something that resonates, I invite you to hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe. I'm here at the new and the full moon with updates about how to use the energy and the light. And like I said, if you want the full picture of the energy of this lunation, my strong recommendation is to watch the Lightworker Energy Update. It will provide instructions on how to make sure the shadow isn't getting the best of you at this time. Thanks so much, and bye for now.